No kings means men have the right to love who they love and express who they are, to live without fear or judgment, harassment, or control. No kings means truth is not hidden, edited, or rationed. It means transparency is not optional, it's required.
Iran has demonstrated missiles with a range of over 2,500 miles, theoretically covering Europe. Does this suggest that the U.S. is at least a little correct in viewing Iran as a major military threat?
Anybody with weapons can be a threat. It's more detailed. It's more complicated than that. Anybody can be a threat. I'm not saying they are or aren't. I think we're a bigger threat.
So can you elaborate on the complexity of the situation?
Well, simply saying that somebody has weapons doesn't mean that they're going to use them. The administration has been lying about everything. I don't believe them about anything. And so there's lots of reasons for a strong man to want to start a war to rally the populace around him, which looks like maybe what he has done. And so Iran has a very smart strategy. They've been expecting this for a long time. So we're in a bad spot, and it's Trump's fault.
Does not expire when we take off.
Question 2. If the U.S. shifts more attention and resources to the Middle East, do you think the situation in the Taiwan Strait could become more dangerous?
Taiwan. If we shift to the Middle East, will Taiwan become more dangerous? It could. It very well could. It could look like weakness to China, and they could want to attack it. I did hear an interesting observation that the U.S. has abdicated its leadership role so much that China is looking like the responsible country. And somebody was making a good argument, they've probably got a lot of world leadership coming, and they don't need to mess it up by attacking Taiwan. They can just kind of leave things as they are for now, and attacking Taiwan would be a problem. So don't interrupt us while we're falling. I don't see that they'll necessarily attack Taiwan right now. They want to at some point. I'm sure they will, but right now I don't see it. Hopefully.
Do you agree that these conflicts are no longer just regional wars, but are reshaping the future global order?
They can and they will. The U.S. is in a bad position. The petrodollar, the dollar, is the basis for all oil transactions. China could make the yuan the basis, and so much of what the U.S. runs on, we've got this stupid insolvent debt, and if people stop believing they were going to repay it and everything moves to the yuan, we could completely crash. So even something as simple as this, which doesn't include everybody yet, could still really screw the U.S.
And final question. If oil prices continue to rise and inflation worsens, do you think this could vastly weaken Trump's support?
Absolutely. Yeah, hopefully.
Question 1. If oil prices continue to rise and inflation worsens, do you think it could weaken Trump's support?
Totally. It will, yes, of course. That's what it hurts, A lot of red states, people have to drive 20, 80 miles every day back and forth, and that's going to hurt them hard. And when the pocket is where everything changes, yeah. It's going to hurt in the midterms. Next, November, yeah.
With tensions rising in multiple regions, do you still believe in globalization, or do you think the world is moving toward division and blocks?
I think it's moving towards division, yeah, but globalization is not as terrible as, it could have been managed better, yes. So, I'm not against globalization.
Okay, and last question. If you could sum it up in one sentence, what do you think is the biggest danger in the world today?
Fascism. Mm-hmm. What we have here, what they're trying to implement here, fascism is the worst thing. And it's happening all over the world. Fascism is rising in Europe, is rising in the Americas, is rising in Asia. And it is natural because the middle class is shrinking. And when the middle class shrinks, people always go fascist. They go look for their fathers. They want a strong father to come and clean up. And it's a terrible instinct, but it is the instinct that rules at the end. That's what happened in Germany They were doing very bad economically, and then they went for the big, strong father figure. It's a Freudian thing, okay? It's Freudian. This is social psychology. If you want to understand why what's happening is happening, study some psychology. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, man.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Good job. You too. Good luck with everything.
Question 1. Iran has demonstrated missiles with a range of over 2,500 miles, theoretically covering Europe. Does this suggest that the U.S. is at least a little correct in viewing Iran as a major military threat?
I think anyone having missiles is a threat to anybody, and I feel that world peace without missiles is a great thing. But I feel if Iran can take action to places in Europe, that should be something more Europe should be involved with, not America. If Iran is more threatening to be like, okay, we're going to come get America with all of the distance and land that we have with these missiles, then I feel like that'd be a better reason for America to get involved. But it just seems like more of an area that Europe can deal with, and I know Europe is a very strong environment that we are a part of too. So it goes both ways.
Yeah. If Iran has this long-range strike capability, do you think current U.S. military actions are preventing a larger war or triggering one earlier?
I think it might be triggering one earlier. I feel that Trump had no reason to attack Iran. There was no plausible cause for it. There was no real reason for it, and it's scaring a bunch of people to believe that war is going to happen, and we really hope it doesn't. We as a society and as a world, I don't think we can deal with another war, a world war. So.
Do you think China might take advantage of U.S. focus in the Middle East to apply stronger pressure or even take military action against Taiwan?
I think China might. I think Trump won't be watching all of his sections of area and might be willingly giving up China giving up Taiwan to China and stuff, which would be a bad thing because Taiwan is a great place and they work great independently. And it would be very sad if China was to take them.
And in your view, is the world today closer to a new Cold War or to the beginning of multi-front hot conflicts?
Multi-front hot conflicts. It's like a game of dominoes, really. When you attack one area, a bunch are going to follow after that. I was just recently having this conversation with my Euro teacher. We were talking about how this happens throughout history, and it's constantly going to happen. It's just going to create more and more hot conflicts. So I feel that this is just one step to the dominoes falling over.
These conflicts are already affecting global energy, shipping, finance, and supply chains. Do you think people are underestimating their impact on the global economy?
Yes, I feel the economy is going to take a very large hit from this, and I don't think everyone's taking in full consideration of that. And I do feel that people should prepare for maybe not another depression, but people should prepare for maybe a dip in the economy.
Okay, well, that's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Iran has demonstrated missiles with a range of over 2,500 miles, theoretically covering Europe. Does this suggest that the U.S. is correct in viewing Iran as a major military threat?
So I think it depends on what's happening in terms of negotiations. And I think rather than viewing it as a broader military threat, their focus should be on sitting down and talking about peace rather than discussing war or rushing into decisions.
Do you think China might take advantage of U.S. focus on the Middle East to apply stronger pressure or even take military action against Taiwan?
I think that is certainly a potential. I think when countries whose aim is to dominate others see opportunities, they are going to try to take advantage of that. So yes, I would think so.
And if a conflict were to break out in the Taiwan Strait, would you support direct U.S. involvement?
No.
Can you explain why?
So again, I would like to see first what effort has been made to avoid conflict. And that means, again, focus is on the wrong thing at the moment. It's on reaction rather than sitting down with people and trying to negotiate something that does not involve arms and attacks and killing people.
If these actions ultimately fail to improve security and instead make the world more dangerous, who should be held responsible? The actions being what Trump's doing right now.
Trump and his cabinet should be held responsible.
We need to stop.
Can you elaborate?
So if we're not coming to the table trying to resolve issues in a peaceful way and instead resorting to armed conflict at the drop of a hat, which is what appears to be the case. Wars at the moment under Trump seem to be driven by a whim rather than being able to try to resolve issues. He ran on the ticket of being a no-wars president, and he has done a total reversal on that. And so I don't think he has earned any credibility. And so if we're going around attacking multiple countries and causing conflicts, then we have to pay the consequence for that, which is very unfortunate for all those of us who don't support war as a first resort.
Well, that's all the questions I'm going to ask you today.
Okay.
Have a good day. So Iran has demonstrated missiles with a range of over 2,500 miles, theoretically covering Europe. Does this suggest that the U.S. is correct in viewing Iran as a major military threat?
Yes, they are a major military threat. I still don't believe we should be bombing the crap out of them, though.
If the U.S. shifts more attention and resources to the Middle East, do you think the situation in the Taiwan Strait could become more dangerous?
Everything that the United States military and the Department of Defense and the Secretary of Defense is doing right now is dangerous to this country and every other country out there. Bring it back. Including Taiwan and everywhere else.
And if a conflict were to break out in the Taiwan Strait, would you support direct U.S. military involvement?
It depends on who creates the conflict. If China creates a conflict in the Taiwan Strait, I would support the United States helping to defend Taiwan, but that's it.
These current conflicts that are going on are already affecting global energy, shipping, finance, and supply chains. Do you think people are underestimating their impact on the global economy?
The people, we the people, those of us that are not that are not sycophants of this narcissistic president who's doing all of this to divert attention from the fact that he is a pedophiliac and that he is part of the entire Epstein files, etc. I already forgot your question. Sorry, you can edit this, right? What was the last part of your question?
Do you think people are underestimating their impact on the...
Nobody is underestimating the impact. When we go to the gasoline pump, when we go to the grocery store, when we do everything that we're doing, because everything we do, everything that they're doing is increasing the cost to everyday Americans. People forget that gasoline means those diesel trucks can't get supplies to where they go. Everything we do is contingent upon the price of gas and the price of oil and everything else.
And if you could sum it up in one sentence, what do you think is the biggest danger in the world today?
Donald Trump.
Well, that's it.